one-way love is a fantasy.
Right.
To share is complete and pure. He is literally talking about menage a trois.
Yeah, man.
Right? He's literally talking about threesomes and whatever else the fuck he was into.
So we live right now. We live.
Are we live?
Yeah, we live.
All right, so let's.
But
all
anyway,
right, so let's get on camera if we live.
Anyway, yeah, we should be live. I'm trying to figure out why we. All right.
I don't think we are. I don't see the live situation, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, we should be live. We should be.
I'm gonna go back to the YouTube thing. YouTube says we are not live.
YouTube says we are not live. Okay.
Yep, we are not live. It's waiting, and it gives up the right time to it. It is waiting. Okay. We got 6 people waiting, Freezie. God damn it, let's go.
I'm not for sure what that is, but you know me, I will fix it.
So this is our original format. This wasn't the format that we were trying to work on last week.
Yeah. This is, bro. This is Gucci right here, bro. Let me see here. Let me go into. I'm not for sure why it's not showing live.
Freezie, send me a new link.
No.
You sure?
No, don't do nothing. Stay where you at, bro. This is how we got messed up. This is how we always get messed up. Is where you are. You are super good. You don't have to do nothing. What it is me. It's the system I'm using to communicate to YouTube.
Okay.
Is not communicating with YouTube. But what you got, you super perfect. Mic extra crispy.
I know.
Connections.
God damn it! Shit, I may sing a little Elvis in this motherfucker this morning. I'm caught in a trap.
Okay. So
can't walk out.
So there is. Okay, so we are live. Right? I got a thing showing that the that we are live. So I just need to fix something else really quick.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm positive.
I clicked back over to the YouTube and I refreshed, and live we are not.
Yeah, no, we live. Look, DSJ is chatting in the chat. Chef NYK is in the building. Corey Lee is in the building. They laughing at us because we're live and don't know.
They can't see it.
And so what it is AD on your YouTube, right? The YouTube you're on, not StreamYard. On YouTube you're on. If you go out of it and go into it, you'll see the new ones. IKBM Dre is in the building. What's good, boss? Y'all welcome to Old School Knicks. You know what I'm saying?
Where we having technical difficulties.
Yeah.
We are talking about Elvis. For real, I see it now. I see the live. I see the live. I do see the live. We are live.
Oh, you see it, right?
Salute, Knicks family. Let's get it.
Yeah, man. So AD, I think, man, when you set the topics to me earlier, ooh, that look, man. Okay.
What?
I need to get a frame for this.
What?
And I need to get a frame for this. I'm gonna put a frame around your thing. But bro, I ain't even gonna lie to you. When you sent me the topics, I was like, oh, AD starting something. Why he want to start another rivalry? So don't we have enough rivals?
Hell no.
Oh God.
Those rivals were then. This is now. Okay. And before we go a step further, good morning, Nick Nation out there, and for those of you who are not Knicks fans and so forth, thank you again for joining myself and Uncle Freezie and sitting with us through our technical difficulties. But y'all know how we work. You know what I'm saying? It's not perfect, but we do what we do, and we bring it to you with an honesty and a reality about the love for the organization and just sports in general. So thank you again, and good morning. But yes, Freezie, when Donovan Mitchell drops 45 and Jalen Brunson drops 48, and is going to have the nerve to tell us that it was nothing special, it's what we do. It's a regular game. Da 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 da. No,
right.
No.
Okay.
That game was, dare I say, nail-biting, exciting the entire way.
Okay.
That it didn't mean anything for us besides, well, I don't want to say that. I don't want to belittle it as far as playoff seedings or whatever, but,
okay.
It had an intensity to it. Even without Randall, without their big man that they're missing, it just had something to where I'm texting, throughout the game with, my people on Knicks and, whatever, and we're just going through it, like, no, this is exciting. So it gave a feel of what's to come, right. And if it stays where it is, where 4 meets 5 and we're 5 and Cleveland is 4, oh yeah. I've never been to Cleveland, Ohio. I may make a trip.
To Cleveland? Yeah.
I may make a trip. It may have to happen.
They don't impress me enough.
Really? Whoa! Speak on it, God. Speak on it.
They don't impress me enough, bro. They're too new. Right? It's like playing. It's like if we were playing Charlotte in the playoffs. That don't get me, pumped up, excited. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's nothing.
So you're expecting that for what? For the Knicks to just go and sweep past Cleveland? Because I'm here to tell you, that's not going to happen. That would be a drop down fight in the first round.
Yes, that's about what I'm expecting. It don't intrigue me nothing. It don't intrigue me none.
Did they ban you from Charlotte? Like, are you allowed you even allowed back in the city of Charlotte?
No, that's Atlanta. That was Atlanta where I cut up a little bit. That's Atlanta where I cut up a little teeny bit.
I heard. Hold on a second. Let's pause. We're gonna get back to that. Freezie, I heard that someone said, Freezie don't realize in Atlanta they got open carry laws out here. I'm like, what the hell was Freezie doing? Was he walking around smacking little dudes? What was going on in Atlanta?
My people in the A love me, bro. My people in the A, they love me, bro. My people in the A, they love some Uncle Freezie, bro. I ain't even gonna hold you.
I heard Jay Boogie that had jumped on the mic, did an impromptu performance somewhere. I'm like, what was going on in Atlanta? And I was not there.
We always act like we ain't never been nowhere before.
Okay.
You know how your parents used to be like, man, act like you've been somewhere before. Act like you've been there before. When we go to Atlanta, we don't necessarily act like we've been anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't never been nowhere. So we always cut up.
Mm-hmm.
So,
got you. All right, so Cleveland doesn't impress you. Is it because Cleveland has Donovan? Do you still have some feelings about that?
No, that's kind of no.
Okay.
No, it's just this team. They're a very good team, right? But they don't have that. They don't have that thing that makes you. They're not the Celtics, man. They're not the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? They ain't the Bulls or somebody.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? They don't have nothing. They just.
I'm glad you're there with it, Freezie, and I wanna. This speaks to the topic and why I chose it and so forth. And Knicks fans, get with me with this. Remember in '94, we looked at Indiana just how you're describing Cleveland. Not really that. We're not really seeing them like that. They're gonna be a stepping stone for us to get to Chicago. Blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? Or better yet, Chicago. Or better yet, as we're playing Chicago, we're thinking that's the Eastern Conference Finals. When we get to Indiana, it's gonna be a breeze.
Okay.
Right? We win the first 2 games, and then everything changed.
Right.
They win the next 2. We weren't expecting that. Because remember, in '93, when Starks headbutts Reggie Miller, I think that was the only game, if memory serves me correctly, and someone in the chat, let me know if I'm wrong. If memory serves me correctly, we took him out in 5 or was it 6? But the headbutt kind of started a little something, right? And when we got to '94, just how you're describing Cleveland, they ain't sexy enough. It don't mean nothing. Da 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 da.
Right.
Game 5. We're winning Game 5. It looks like we're gonna win Game 5 and close them out in Game 6 or whatever. But there's a feud that's brewing between a paid patron and a player who's not playing as well as he was in the other 2 games.
Okay.
And all of a sudden, in the 3rd quarter, Reggie Miller goes bananas. Okay? He becomes the arch rival at that very moment. He becomes historical to where there's a documentary on this. Reggie Miller Game Time.
Can I interject just something? Just
you
a teeny bit,
need
small,
to. You need to.
Okay. So the thing is, this yapping kid was a villain before this series, just not with us. He had been a pain in the side of many Eastern Conference teams, just not with us, right? Because there were no stakes, right? You saw before this. You saw all of the Milwaukee Bucks mad at Reggie Miller, like they legit trying to chase him down, and then you saw Reggie Miller yapping at the Pistons, calling them old and all of these things. And see, this is before he became the Gotham Strangler. You know what I'm saying?
He became everything. He became your worst nightmare.
Right.
See, those other playoffs that you mentioned, valid, because remember, he's on the team the Indiana team where Persons and Bird had their legendary game.
Yes.
He's on that team, but it's not his team yet. It's Chuck Persons' team. It's the Riflemen's team.
Yep.
See what I'm saying?
As a matter of fact, their point guard is now or was an NBA referee.
Right.
Haywood Workman.
Who has his legendary fight with Greg Anthony. Remember that? People forget that one.
Yep.
Where he's practically strangling Greg, or he put Greg in a neck lock, and then Greg kind of like hits him in the nuts, and they're like falling over somewhere, because if there's one thing that Greg Anthony could do, Greg could fight. And Greg liked to fight. And Greg once said, and we would fight, whether he was in the game or not. See Phoenix game.
Right.
Where he jumps off the bench and sucker punches Kevin Johnson after him and Doc Rivers is going at it, and all you can see is pretty shirt Greg, because Greg had the prettiest Versace shirt you'd ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
And Pat Riley's like, get off the court. Just get off the court.
Right.
Get out of here.
Right.
Right? And pushes him off the court.
Right.
Or escorted him off the court. Greg was hurt. Greg wasn't even in the game.
Man, Greg Anthony would fight. Greg Anthony is tough, bro.
Greg was a tough dude. Greg was a tough.
Greg was a tough dude. You remember at UNLV, he got clotheslined in the air and broke his face and jaw.
Yeah.
Right, and missed one game.
Came back with a face mask.
Yes.
Came back with the face with his jaw wired shut.
Yes. This dude is
his jaw wired shut. He was a tough dude. He wasn't. Greg was in college a true floor general. In college, for a team, to me, in my estimation, right, that UNLV team, in my feelings, was the top 3 teams that I'd ever seen. And I didn't see the Wooden years, those UCLA teams, right? But that UNLV team and the following team was even better, because that following team, they got Spencer.
Yeah.
Was even better.
Spencer,
and
the big light skinned.
Yeah, they got Spencer, but
I don't know. I like George Ackles and Moses Scurry. I like them, bro.
No, I like them, but Spencer gave them a low post threat.
Yeah, and the other two I just mentioned were energy bigs. That's all they were.
Spencer gave them a true low post, Cartwright-ish threat.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it seemed like, because when they meet Duke again, it seems like it's only going to be what it was in round 1, part 2 of what it was, because in round 1 they smacked.
Okay, easy, relax. I'm a Duke fan. Relax, bro.
Let me do it again. They smacked Duke. Bro. They smacked Duke, Leitner, Hurley, Grant Hill. Was Grant on the team that got smacked? No, Grant's not on the team that got smacked.
No, they recruited Grant Hill,
right? Because they got smacked.
Because they got smacked by Vegas.
Right. Because they got smacked, and that Vegas team, led by the Towel Eater, that man would sit there.
I wish the Knicks would have, man.
Tarkanian would sit there. Good God. You know what? Tarkanian was pre-NIL. And when I say that, I'm not throwing out any...
Really?
I'm not saying any...
Pre-NIL?
Yeah, because here's the thing with Tark. Tark realized that the kids that he recruited weren't going to be the best kids as far as grade-wise. Okay?
Right.
And he would get kids that the Carolinas and the Dukes weren't going after.
Yeah.
Larry Johnson was what, a junior college player.
Yeah. Yeah, and Larry Johnson was everything big programs didn't want, right? Inner city guy you couldn't control, big personality, undersized for his position, didn't play basketball the conventional way. He would have never went to Indiana. Larry Johnson would have never been coached by Bobby Knight.
And he probably would never thrive with Bobby Knight, because he'd have punched Bobby Knight in his grill.
Face.
Yeah, Bobby Knight wasn't going to choke him out like he did so many other players.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And yell in their face and saliva all in your eyebrow and all that nonsense.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I believe in coaching players hard.
Right.
But you can step over the line, which Bobby Knight did his entire career, until it was just so flagrant that they had to get rid of him. But enough of old Spitzer Knight.
Demond is in the building. We Talk Hawks is in the building. What's good, my guy? Big
Salute.
game today. We Talk Hawks.
Salute.
Hey, I'm going to be in the building. We Talk Hawks versus We Talk Mavs. I'm going to be in the building. This is like Ali and Frazier.
No.
Both of the homies. The We Talk Hawks channel, a bussin' YouTube channel, versus We Talk Mavs, a bussin' YouTube channel.
That's Ali versus Chuck Webner.
Yo, I'm gonna be in the building. I'm gonna be instigating on both sides. It's like when you got a cousin on both sides and they ready to thump. You just like
absolutely,
and you can't get along. You may as well get it on.
Yeah, yo, I saw her take your annihilators, yo, for real.
Yo, I saw it. They in his pocket, bro. I promise. Go in his pocket.
In his pocket, I'm telling you.
Yeah, and then on the other side, yo, you better not let him go in your pockets, boss.
How you gonna let you're a grown man? How you gonna let another grown man go up in your pockets?
Yo, you know what I mean? On both sides.
You gonna hear that in the background? Ooh.
Yeah. So shout out to We Talk Hawks, Demond, that's my man. Bustin' YouTube channel. If y'all like basketball, man, go check them out. Like their videos, subscribe. We Talk Man, King Kai, Rel Talk, both them guys, man. They the homies, man. Go check them out, subscribe, and like. I definitely got my popcorn ready today. Atlanta versus AD. You know why, right?
Why? It's the Luka.
Yeah,
the Luka thing.
We need Dallas to win so that we can keep their first pick.
Right, so we can keep their pick.
Yeah.
Right. What was the deal? That Dallas has to fall. That Dallas has to stay in playoff contingency in order for us to keep their pick.
They have to. As long as it's not top 10 as long as they don't fall in the top 10, we good.
Oh, okay.
Right,
so they need to win.
11.
They need to win. They need to make the playoffs.
Dallas needs to win. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But at the same time,
well, Dallas needs to win for more reasons than that. Because if they don't make the playoffs, they're gonna have some really disgruntled people on their hands.
Yeah,
number one being Luka.
Yeah, man.
And they made that trade to appease him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To get him, I was watching Luka the other day, and I'm a Luka fan, okay? But here's my two things with Luka. Number one, since you've come into this league, you've never been in NBA basketball proper shape as a professional athlete. Okay? You're like a burger away from being,
Uncle Freezie.
Well, you know what I'm saying? Freezie, you two-time Green Store champ. You know what I'm saying? You still throw them hands,
hold
baby.
First of all, it's Green Street Grocery Champ.
Green
Street Grocery Champ.
What did I say? Green Store?
Let's not be, you know what I'm saying?
The champ is here.
Yeah, let's not be disrespectful.
And the second thing is he has too much ball usage, yo. Pause. He has too much usage.
Right.
It's like he's afraid to give it up and get it back.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? Like, dude, you can't be that. You can't win the games. You're not going to be. You may be able to win a key game by yourself because that's what a superstar is supposed to do.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
But it's easy to defend.
Yep.
If you don't trust, the other digits in the hand.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's the thing with him. As and I know some Knicks fans and with their foolish dreaming are dreaming that maybe one day we can get Luka.
One day we'll get Luka.
Yeah, he'll suit up. You won't like him in your uniform the way he currently plays.
Right.
Because everyone else just stands around and watch.
Right.
When it comes to him.
If they hate Melo, bro, if they hate it. If Melo rubbed you the wrong way, if Julius Randle rubbed you the wrong way, bro, man, Lucas, man. Right.
If Julius rubs you the wrong way, you may burn a cross on Luke.
Right.
That's how you burn a cross on a white man's yard. Oh my God, you gonna burn a cross on Luka's yard because he straight ball dominant.
Yes.
Straight ball dominant. And like I said, I'm a fan of his, of what he can do. But dude, you got to play with your teammates a bit more.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they've done nothing. If nothing that Mark Cuban has done since they got him, they've tried, and that's been the Dallas formula going way back to Dirk. They'll blow it up. They'll take a chance.
Okay.
They'll keep on bringing it. Like if they lose Kyrie this summer, they won't blink.
Right.
Right? Because they'll keep on keeping on, and in those keep on keeping on, they'll make mistakes, Yep. Their biggest glaring mistake was they let a guy go who could play with Luka.
Yep.
And that guy happens to be, who has built, recaptured, redefined, enlightened. Shall I go on? He is now the guy. He's the Black James Bond of MSG.
Right.
Okay? He is the guy. And his name is Jalen Brunson. Okay? And he drops his 48, in a performance that was just 48-9 and whatever, 48-9 and 3 or 4 and 5, whatever. He had a couple of charges. He did, when I watch him, Freezie, and this morning, before we got on, someone has a clip on there of his highlights, the best of his highlights so far.
Right.
Did you know that Jalen Brunson can dunk?
I didn't know that.
I had to rewind it on a broken play. I mean, it wasn't a banger, but it was still a rise and put in.
Right.
He has given this organization just everything you could want for a person that signed the big check. Because how many guys have we done seen that came through here that signed the big check, and it's like they went home after they signed the check?
Oh, didn't show up after they signed the big check. Yeah.
So buckle up, Knicks fans. Because
that hoodie Cab in the chat. Oh boy, there's a hoodie Cab sighting.
Is that hoodie Cab the illegitimate stepfather of Kevin Knox?
Right.
Hey, hoodie Cab, how's Kevin Knox doing wherever the hell he at? Is he in the CBA yet? Is he in China yet?
and IKBM on that thought that you just mentioned about signing the check and then not showing up. IKBM says, shout out to Jerome James.
Ooh. Hey, I've told y'all before, the weekend he signed that check, not to get away from, the power that is, which is the Brunsons. Freezie, I was in, what is that famous soul food spot up in Harlem? Oh, my God. The name is Sylvia's.
Right.
On a Sunday. Sylvia's is packed. Sylvia's, they bring them in. Back then, they used to have tour buses that used to come in. That's how famous her spot was, right? And me, shout out to macaroni and cheese. I don't know if you got some. If you got some good macaroni and cheese, I will follow. Okay,
I might propose.
I will be there. Okay, okay. You let me tell y'all last week that the single status is real. Make some good macaroni and cheese. I'm showing up, gal. So Sunday afternoon, I go in the restaurant and he's already there. Freezie, the man got like 4 entrees, 15 sides, 4 different drinks, right? And I'm walking past and I'm like, did the Knicks just give you, aren't you like about to go to training camp? I'm literally walking by his table and I'm staring him down like I want beef.
Right.
Right? I'm walking by, I'm all in his, like, is that extra butter on them grits?
Oh, God.
What is going, dude, I wasn't even, like, at the time, I'm, me and my lady, and she's like, why are you staring at that man like that? You're a big dude. I'm like, so what?
So what?
So who is he? I'm like, the Knicks just signed. And I'm talking like a little loud, and the place is kind of packed. I'm like, the Knicks just gave this dude 5 years for $25 million, and this dude is sitting here with extra butter on the grits.
So I did that to a dude named Terrell Biggs one time. I don't know if oh, never mind. I won't tell that story no more.
It didn't end up well for you. At least for me, I walked out the restaurant. You walked out with a gut shot. Came out the ring with a couple of sore ribs. I promise you, if Jerome had hit me, I'd have called the cops immediately.
Bro, no lie, he called me Muffin. right? After all of this, he called me Muffin, right? And you know, when cats call you names like Muffin, bro, you can't call no grown man, no. But he called me after he called me that after he beat me up.
Was this before the 2-time championship that you had won?
Say what?
Was this before you won the 2-time championship?
This is before I was the multiple time Green Street Grocery boxing.
Oh, Jesus. Shout out to Green Street Grocery.
Yeah, man. They let quarter sandwiches be busting, bro, with the white bread and hot sauce. And you mess around and get you an RC Cola.
That's what it is?
Oh, I'm sorry, not an RC Cola. You mess around and get you a Snapple back to get you a Snapple or something? Man, listen. Yeah.
Oh, my God, Uncle Freezie. So, but back to our, the original theme and topic, the rivalry. So, as Miller is going crazy in that Game 5, the next day...
Did he talk trash to a patron?
Talk trash. The man grabbed his nuts right in front of Spike's wife.
Yes.
That's why Spike gets up.
The patron that AD was alluding to was Spike Lee.
Yeah. That's why Spike but what Spike doesn't say until the Miller Time documentary was that Spike was nudging him the whole game.
Yeah.
Because Indiana was behind, they're losing. John Starks had checked out of the game, blah, blah, blah. It looked like we're about to just take this. Spike was all there, Reggie! Yeah.
Yes.
My ninja, Reggie, he's doing all of that. Right. And Reggie kept flinching. Reggie kept like, who's that? Like, why are you talking to me? That kind of way.
Yep.
It wasn't like how, here's the beauty about sports then to now, okay? A player would use that as fuel like you're hungry, and they would absolutely, I remember a guy in Detroit, he's like one of their staple fans, I don't know if he's still around. He would be standing there with Bible verses, right? Literally screaming out Bible verses against the opponent, and all kinds of, and players just kind of like, you knew who he was. He gave you extra momentum, a battery in your back to go out to do what you needed to do.
Right.
The players today, they want to stop the game. They want to throw a motherfucker out. Excuse my language. They want to do all this extra thing because why? I'm a player. I make 100 and something million, 200 million. Well, you can't talk to me any kind of way. Look how beautiful that moment was. Looking back some almost 29 years ago. Okay. Because exactly what it is. Because we're in the spring, 29 years ago.
Okay.
As Reggie is he hits one shot, he stops, he stares. Hits another shot,
are you talking
stops.
About spring 92?
Spring 94.
Spring 94.
Okay? Spring 94.
My math is wrong. I'm sorry.
That's all right. You the Green Street champ. You done took a couple of shots. That's all right.
You shots to the dome. I got you. Okay. TGK TV is in the building.
So as he's hitting more and more shots, he's getting, the fuel is building up. It's not a stop. Let's go to the referee. Let's tell the ref, hey, Spike said something. I don't like what Spike said, and let's get him kicked out of the game and whatever. No, it's a part of the drama.
Right.
That's what you young cats don't understand. The build-up, the drama, and what's about to take place.
Okay.
Reggie drops 25 in the third quarter.
Okay.
There was no bigger Knicks fan than myself, especially at that time. So I hate it and respect it at the same time because he's playing on it's the theater. It's Broadway. Sorry, Brooklyn. It's Broadway. It's on the biggest stage, and he's doing his thing, and he has officially arrived. It's not Chuck Person's team. It's Reggie Miller's team, and he is giving you all you want because at the end of the day, he scores 30. I think he scored 39.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
If I'm, somebody correct me if I'm incorrect, but I believe it was 39. But it's 25 in the from the third to the fourth, right? And he's dominant.
Okay.
And all the back pages were the next day was they were killing Spike.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
They're killing Spike.
As if Spike played a lick of defense.
As if he played a lick of defense. But all I remember from the end of that moment was Spike's wife sitting there like this.
Wait a minute. We got to set some backdrop, right? So I think at the time Spike may have had some duds before. Listen.
Yeah, She Gotta Have It at the time.
No, that She Gotta Have It wasn't out.
Yes, it was. School Days was already out.
No,
School Days came out in '88. She Gotta Have It is the first movie. So She Gotta Have It is '87, I think.
It's '86.
'86, okay.
School Days is '87. We're talking about '94, right? We're talking about '94. I'm talking about Mo Better Blues. Mo Better Blues might have been out.
Yeah, Mo Better Blues was out. Malcolm X came out in '92. At that time, he is the preeminent
I promise
black
you he had a
director, whatever you want to call him at that time, and famous and from New York.
And I promise you he had a. This is before Girl 6 and all of that, right?
That was a dud. Girl 6 was a dud.
Yeah, this is before Girl 6 because Girl 6 is what 96, 97, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I'm talking about this. I think this
the Drop Squad, which was a cult classic, which that's a whole other story. As far as the theory on that movie per se.
Yeah. But I think Spike had I can't remember what movie it is, but it wasn't.
And he was affiliated with, I think his cousin who did this, New Jersey Drive.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's under the 40 Acres and Mule as well. I could be wrong, but someone in the chat from back then, or just whatever.
Somebody said Jungle Fever. Jungle Fever was '91, right?
Jungle Fever is yes. Jungle Fever's under his belt as well. Jungle Fever. Oh my God. What's his very big one that he got nominated for? Oh my God. It's skipping me right now. You know what I'm talking about with him and Danny Aiello. God rest the dead.
You can't remember Do the Right Thing?
I watched it like a couple of months ago. The name was skipping me, but
okay.
Do the Right Thing. I love that movie.
But AD, what I'm saying is when the Knicks were playing the Pacers, there was no Do the Right Thing type movie from Spike Lee out. I think Spike had a dud, and I think it may have been Mo Better Blues.
I love Mo Better Blues.
Yeah, Mo Better Blues wasn't that.
I love Mo Better Blues because Freezie, you don't like Car Wash, so your taste.
I don't like
your
Denzel
movies
Washington. I don't like Denzel Washington snapping, right? I don't like Denzel snapping.
I think you don't like Denzel.
No, I like Denzel. Right? I like Denzel, right? I just don't like Denzel snapping.
Shout out Denzel, you Lakers fan from New York. Yeah.
I was gonna say something that rhymes with okay.
I'm
going to call him something that rhymes with You Laker fan.
You Laker fan, you.
Yeah, man. No,
but I was a fan of that.
He got game was 99?
97.
97?
97. Yeah, 97, 98.
I know. It's a weird space where he was in where the movie. It wasn't John Q. It wasn't John Q. It was it was Bomb Squad. It was Bomb Squad, and he made another movie with Damon Wayans. Was a part of it. I can't remember, but he had a couple of. No. I can't remember the name of that movie, but it's skipping me right now. But it was a couple. Bomb Squad wasn't received well. The Damon Wayans movie, which is skipping me right, it's gonna come to me. But at that time, he's as far as black directors and even just. Brooklyn?
Crooklyn. Well, I love Crooklyn. Crooklyn was around that. Crooklyn was around that time. Clockers. Remember Clockers?
I remember Clockers. Yeah.
Clockers is 94, 95. Yes, it was. Clockers is a joint. It's a Spike. It's a Spike Lee and what's our favorite Italian gangster mob movie maker? It's
the dude that made King of New York.
They're together in that joint. It's a joint venture.
Yeah.
He made Goodfellas. What's his name? Oh my God.
Oh jeez. Every time I think
it'll come. Somebody in the chat will drop it. Somebody in the chat will drop it. But it was a yes, but it was a joint venture.
Okay.
But in the 90s, can you talk about movies and not, or just the whole genre and not talk about Spike? Because he's there in every way.
Yeah.
But we didn't need him in that way at that time.
Right.
But to his credit, we're down 3-2, must win every game from here on in. Yeah. So if you win game 6, you got to get to a game 7. Yeah. Right? We go back to Indiana. For those of you who don't know the history of Indiana, it is the birthplace of the Ku Klux Klan.
Yep.
KKK.
Yep. Martin Scorsese, that's it. Ty
Martin
right?
Scorsese.
Yeah,
right.
Scorsese. Hey, shout out to Ty Bobby.
Yep. We get there, and I remember he gets off the plane, and he's wearing a Jackie Robinson jersey, I believe, or a Brooklyn Dodgers jacket or something of that effect.
So it may have been Crooklyn out. I think Crooklyn might have been out there.
It was a couple. It was Crooklyn, like I said, Bomb Squad was up, but Crooklyn was a much better received movie than Bomb Squad.
Is a class.
Crooklyn's a classic.
I'm coming. The Knicks game is on. That's my favorite line in the whole movie.
Yeah. Okay. There was so much in pop culture. There was so much Nick references that it just didn't make sense. But anyway.
Right.
He gets off the plane and their local news is following him. Okay? And they were asking him, do you even have a ticket for the game, Spike? Where are you staying?
Yeah. And
Spike turns around and says, I'm staying at the governor's mansion.
Right. You remember that?
Like yesterday.
This idiot just asked Spike Lee to tell the whole state of Indiana where he was going to stay.
Exactly. And he's like, yo, I'm staying at the governor's mansion.
Bim,
right? Take that. And that game 6, Ewing, I believe, scored 4 points in that game.
It seemed like it, right?
No. I think he scored 4 points in that game. If I'm correct, somebody look it up and tell me, right? I know it wasn't double digits. And John Starks and Derek Harper, especially in the end, Derek Harper steals the pass twice from Vern Fleming. Vern Fleming is on the route to go get a layup, and Derek Harper just swoops down and around from under him and give me that. John Starks, I think, dropped 26 or 28 in that game 6. And when the game was in hand and was over, he runs over and he finds Spike. And this is what it was like when, back to the theater and the drama and the fans' participation. Drop Squad, right. I thought it was Bomb Squad, but Drop Squad, right. Yeah. That was one of the greatest. And he runs over he finds Spike. And him and Spike is dapping it up, and he's giving Spike all of this, baby. All of this. Yeah, take that one. Yeah. Take that. Yeah. Right? And Spike gives a salute to the crowd, and because they was giving it to him the whole night while he was there.
Yeah.
While he was there. But, to the point of it was we were them. Right. They were us. There was something with the fans and the team. In that same season, as we move on from Indiana, or about to move on from Indiana, in that game 7, Patrick Ewing, who was vilified throughout his career, especially in those early days and here in New York, and you got to be tough in this, right? He is high-fiving fans as the game is still in session.
Right.
He clearly grabbed a fan. The fan looked at him. Was one of them was like, "Shall I hug you? Shall you hug me?" And he grabbed the fan and embraced and a hug.
Right.
And the fan hugs him back.
Right.
Right.
Yo, can we speak to that moment real quick though?
Speak to it, dog.
Because we can't. Cause in fairness to the conversation, I don't want to fast forward through that moment. Right. It basically what happened is in '94. In '94, there is from about '89 to about '92, there is this. The fans don't trust the Knicks. The Knicks don't trust the fans. The fans don't trust the media. The media don't trust the fans. The media don't trust the Knicks. The Knicks don't trust it. It's like this weird triangle of drama going on where nobody trusts anybody. And so when it comes to stuff like all-star votes or great player conversation, the Knicks are never mentioned because there's a love-hate relationship between the fans and the Knicks and the fans, the Knicks and the media and the Knicks. It's like this weird thing. So Pat Ewing, probably the third best player in the NBA at that time from '89 to '92, is not looked at as the third best player in the NBA from '89 to '92, right? They were making up guys. Like for instance, how is Shawn Kemp more popular than Patrick Ewing when Shawn Kemp averaged 18 and 10 or 19 and 11 and Pat was 24 and 12 and doing it in New York, right? And winning more games, by the way.
Well, some of that goes back from Hoya paranoia and him being the Hoya destroyer.
Yeah.
You see, the legacy of Georgetown follows him to New York, good and bad.
And the bad part. Yeah, good and bad. Yep.
Yeah, good and bad. You know, so that's what that was. But you know, I think I sent you the clip this morning, and I was rewatching it. You didn't watch it, but
as soon as I clicked on it. As soon as I clicked on it and saw the title, I was like, "Man, you ain't gonna drag me back down into."
I know, but I dragged. But I'm
memory lane.
Well, this is old school Knicks, is it not? Fans, did this man just said this is not memory lane? So why the hell am I freaking doing going back in time?
But not 8 o'clock in the morning. No, thank you.
Oh, really?
Get me to put on. What's the lady that from the '70s had the high voice?
Which
Minnie
one?
Riperton. You ain't going to have me in here listening to Minnie Riperton. Come on, back down memory lane.
I want to hear a little loving you. Easy cause your view. You better put some respect. You better put respect on the late great 5-octave Minnie Riperton. You better what? Bro. What? You better stop that. Stop that. Bro. That woman was good. God, that woman was a singer.
Yeah.
God rest her dead. She didn't receive. Well, she got a little bit of a shine when she did "Loving You."
Right.
But she was around for a minute, you know, in rock bands and so forth, and in those early 60s, and, you know, long before my time on this earth, but because of the love for music and all things artistic.
I hate that record, bro. My uncle, I know lie, my uncle used to be like, my uncle used to give me 4 nickels, and he'd be like, hey, tape them together and put that on the needle. And see, I was the little one that I used to be able to stack the needles on the needle so it won't skip, so it won't go to the next track. That was our repeat button, right? Put a nickel on the needle. That was the repeat button back in the day, right? So he used to give me them nickels. I used to take 3 of them nickels and put them in my pocket. Take that 1 nickel and put it on there, and he used to play Back Down Memory Lane. That and that Bobby, what's the Bobby? The song that Biz Markie you got what I need.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Okay,
Yeah.
but Minnie was just God. I don't know why you mentioned her name this morning. I don't know why you're gonna do that to me. She makes a record called "Inside My Love."
Oh.
When you hear her sounding like the boat leaving the dock out into the middle of the ocean,
Yeah.
as her voice is just carrying and carrying and carrying and carrying and carrying. You know, Q-Tip and Tribe Called Quest, they sampled her a couple of times, and some of the I think it's Lyrics of Fury and some of the classic records.
Right.
You know, Minnie Riperton was just and is, you know, a standard that so many of the black singers from out of the church that could really blow, that even so many who didn't turn to, you know, what they call secular music at that time.
Yep.
It's still, you know, for those people who hold near and dear the church and the gospel and so forth, they don't rock with secular music, which is a whole other hypocrisy, and I'm not going to get into right here and now. But she was from that cloth, and she could just absolutely blow. Inside My Love, for those who don't know that record, you listen to that record, Inside My Love, or Savage Garden. She's got so many. She's got she's got so many of those underground classics that, you know, that we just don't know, because she was just one of those that was just trying to make it until her breakout record, which is Loving You.
Lyrics to Go was the name of the joint you were saying.
Lyrics.
Real King. Shout out to Real King. Go.
Okay, yeah. Right. Lyrics to Go. When you hear her falsetto, it's like, it's just, like I said, it's kind of like it's just going on, and you know, you just hear her, just her pitch, spot on, spot heavy, yep. carrying on in different ways that you can use your voice. This is without technology. Yeah. You know what I mean? This is like someone God's gift to the world of, hold that. Denise Williams, the same thing. Hold that. Yeah. You know, can just flat out sing. Yeah. You know, as we say, sing.
That girl can sing.
That girl can sing. Yeah. You know what I mean? That, you know, so shout out to, you know, those folks and so forth. But
yeah, man.
Yes, sir.
Every time I hear, like every time like we mention, it's funny how my mind works. Like every time we mention like a singer or some type of, we use a pop culture reference, it always reminds me of a Knicks era. Like the Minnie Riperton era, that's the Ray Williams era. You know, man, Pearl Monroe was getting a little older. You can tell he had lost a step. You know what I'm saying? The odd thing about Pearl was the shooting was there, the handles was there. It's just he lost a step. Like he just couldn't get to certain places.
Right.
And so now you're like, oh man. You know, and when you go back and look at Pearl Monroe in the late 70s during that time, bro, you're looking at a dude that still had all the skills, but the body wasn't, you know what I'm saying? The young, vibrant man wasn't there no more.
They weren't there anymore. And if you look to those late 70s, and we're talking post-Clyde.
Yeah.
Late 70s into early 80s, there's no rivalry.
Right.
Because why? He sucked.
Pretty much.
There's no rivalry.
And
you know what I mean?
And now.
But I think that speaks to the topic. Are we going to have a rivalry? Is that going to be drummed up? Who's going to be the unsung hero when the playoffs come?
Bro,
you know what I mean?
There are no. Think about when you asked me the question. What I was alluding to, I didn't get a chance to finish, probably because I talked too much. But the reason why when you were asking me about Cleveland is because in rivalries, there's for one, both teams have to be good, right? Two, there has to be a villain. There has to be somebody either on their team that we don't like, or somebody on our team that they don't like. You know what I'm saying? Almost hate.
it's through the course of time, as the games play on, is where we develop villains. Like the Davis brothers were not, or Davis boys, they were not villains to us until they were out playing our forwards, or playing, well, they were villains because you know what?
Reggie was the villain.
Well, Reggie was the
Gotham Strangler.
He's the Gotham Strangler, but he's the one. He's the lead singer. See what I'm saying?
Right.
They're the backups. They're the Pips. But is Gladys anything without the Pips? No. See what I'm saying? And they would, when you came into the lane with the Davis boys, they would put you on your ass.
Every time
there was no such thing as free layups in the 90s.
No free lunch. That's what it is. You ain't getting nothing.
There's no free lunch.
You ain't getting nothing
you had to
at the rim. No.
At the rim? No. Dale Davis, I think, did Dale go to? Dale went to Florida. Was it Florida A&M or Florida State?
Which one?
Dale.
Dale Davis went to Clemson.
Clemson, okay. Yeah. I was thinking Clemson, but I'm
he was
okay.
With another power forward that you probably we had a rivalry with too.
You know, Antonio Davis, who was a Knick for like a half a second. You know, they mirrored us. It's almost like Indiana built their team.
Except they were bigger.
They were bigger.
Yeah, they were doing the same things we were doing. Yeah. Except they had bigger people doing it. Right.
Except for the backcourt, because Workman and Harper is a wash. Reggie's 6'7", so right. Reggie's bigger than everybody that's in that backcourt. But Derek McKee is 6'10".
Yeah.
Charles Smith is 6'10".
Yeah.
So it's a wash there, but Derek McKee was more so of their ball handler, quasi point guard,
elite defender. He was an
elite defender.
Yep.
Right. So they mirrored us in a lot of ways.
You know what I mean? And they were taller than Pat.
Their center was taller than Pat. He's 7'3". Pat's 7'7", maybe 7 foot and a half, something like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They were bigger than us.
Yeah, they were bigger, but they just came on the scene because we took them for granted. Like I said, remember that same Indiana team washed Orlando the year before.
Yeah.
Sent them home.
Yeah.
Swept.
Wait a minute, 93?
Yes, they did.
Okay.
Yes, it was in 92, but one of those years, if memory serves me correctly, they sent home Shaq. Shaq has been swept. A Shaq team has been swept several times in history.
Yeah.
Let's understand that.
Yeah.
You know, let's make that clear.
Okay.
A Shaquille O'Neal team, I don't care who his teammates were, went home in a sweeping.
Right.
Okay? And they were just quietly, or maybe not so quietly, but building, because their coach at that time, who became our coach later years, I don't even want to talk about I may never talk about the Larry Brown years. Okay? That's how disgusting it was. Okay? I may never, ever, ever talk about the Larry Brown years.
It was on her sideline sitting on a recliner. You remember that big recliner? It's not a recliner.
They had to take him out in a gurney.
I'm exaggerating some.
Dude,
but remember he had the hip issue? And they
had to take him out in a gurney at one point. Do you remember that? They had to literally get a stretcher and a gurney and pull him out because he had the hip and the back and the whatever, but he still casting checks.
Oh, he cashed checks, bro.
He still cashed them checks. Them Dolan checks were good. Them Golan checks were good to him.
Yes.
Okay? So it was one of those things, but at that point...
Not Jim Dolan, by the way, either. Not James Dolan, by the way.
No.
Oh, yes. Oh, they were.
They were Jim Dolan checks. Oh, yeah. Those are Jim Dolan checks.
Oh.
Those aren't Charles Dolan checks. Those are Jim Dolan checks.
Yeah, you're right. And Allen Houston got that big extension with James Dolan.
They went and met with Larry Brown the moment the season was over in Detroit.
Yep.
Which was a contingency led by then general manager / president, Mr. Isaiah Thomas himself.
Yep.
My cousin said this to me at that time, and I was so blinded and so all in. Like, you don't want Larry Brown? Larry Brown's a New Yorker. He's from here.
Oh, that used to kill me.
He understands, or should understand, what it is to try and win a championship. He knows the history.
Right.
Right? So he should have a leg up and to understand. And my cousin kept telling me, look, why would you want somebody who's leaving a team that's a perennial championship contender?
It's something, yeah. It's something.
Why would you want that guy?
Right.
Why would he want to come here? We got Jerome James.
Oh, God.
Right? We got Jerome Dinner Bell Mel James out here, and he reminded me of that, which to his discredit, because that's the only thing that he can remind me of as far as me being in favor of. And Vic, I'm talking about you, right? Okay. So that he likes to remind me of.
Does everybody have a cousin named Vic?
I think so.
Like everybody has a cousin named Edward. Vic and Edward,
but my big is Vicky B from Flatbush. Shout out, baby. You already know what it is. So he was one of those sane voices at the time. He's like, yo, why do you want this guy? Like, he's leaving a winning institution to come here.
Right.
It doesn't make sense. I was like, no.
Right.
I couldn't hear. I was like, no. We're gonna get him. He's gonna, because my thing has always been, we need the head of the snake. We need the head of the snake. We need the attack. We need the attack. We need someone who's gonna understand and blah 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 blah. And when I saw that gurney that night that they brought to take him out, that was pretty. I was.
His life was done after that. Remember
Now he went back to college. I think he went back to college. Well, dude, you're like
an NBA job.
Dude, if you get a check that's attached to the check that you can't talk about what happened, because remember, you've never heard of Larry Brown mention anything about the Knicks, and we're talking almost 20 years ago,
yes.
or 16, 17 years ago, because that check. What was attached to that check was silence.
Yes.
Go away. Take this 40 mil and go away.
Okay.
You give me 40, but Freezie, you give me 400,000 right now. This show is done. You understand what I'm saying? We over with it. We're gonna start a new show tomorrow.
Cut the check.
You know what I'm saying? Cut the check. Blorange Tears is done. We're going to have a whole new thing tomorrow where the technology's going to be great. We ain't going to be late 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. We're going to be on time because...
We doing a production meeting before the show.
Stop playing.
With scorching hot coffee.
Stop playing.
Yeah.
Stop playing. And then stop playing. And then a couple of breezies walking around here in wet T-shirts. Stop.
Yo.
Stop playing out here. But that's what it was. And he went away. And then came the Anuka Brown and all of that and blah, 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 and so forth and so forth. But that's what it was at that time. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of shameless product that we put out on the court, that there was no rivalries at that point in time. The rivalries we were thinking about was rivalries of yesteryear. So when I say, is there a new rivalry coming aboard, you better believe it. You better believe it, because Cleveland's coach kept Donovan Mitchell in every minute that he could to get every point that he could.
I'm not saying that it's not going to be competitive. It's going to be competitive, right? It's going to be competitive. But in a rivalry, generally what happens is somebody has taken something from the other or pushed somebody down. Okay, give you an example, right? Since you mentioned 90s, right? 3 teams from the 90s that were the Knicks rivals. Or we felt like they were rivals, right? Miami, they took something from us. Right? Right? Indiana had a villain. 2. Chicago. and then so to compare Cleveland to that, I'm like, Cleveland's got a nice team, man. They're really nice people.
But it starts from somewhere, okay? Because if you remember, okay, let's hit Chicago right now.
Okay.
94, Jordan's not there.
Yep.
It seemed like it's a clear path to the championship, okay? The 94 team statistically is not as good as the 93 team.
Okay.
The 94 team, I think, won 56 or 57 games.
Okay.
The 93 team won 61 games, if memory serves me correctly. Right?
Right. Okay.
And had home court advantage throughout, which is something that the 94 team didn't have, which I believe would have prevailed in the end for the championship if we were playing here in Game 7 versus going to Houston, but I'm not there with that.
Okay.
Chicago in that, I think it was Game 3. It's Game 3. Derek Harper is still new to our team, okay?
Because he can't. Derek Harper name, bro, I just want.
I know, but it's because of what's happened post Knicks career.
Okay.
For me, with how he's talked about certain issues, which we've documented here on these airwaves, right? But if you remember that Game 3 in Chicago, Derek Harper not only 2-pieces JoJo English, but he hip tosses him in some Roman Greco wrestler move. And he's on top of him, and all of this is happening while Commissioner Stern is like 4 seats back.
Right.
In Chicago Stadium.
Yeah. And
right?
So let me say shout out to JoJo English. Shout out JoJo English. I think I met him. It may have been definitely after his playing days. I think this is I met him and a dude named, I know y'all don't remember, but a dude named, a running back named Stephen Davis. Y'all probably don't even know who that is, but I met him.
Remember Stephen Davis?
Huh?
Stephen Davis. Michael Westbrook beat the shit out of Stephen Davis on a practice game. Good God. Yo, Westbrook beat the shit out of Stephen Davis. Stephen Davis had his back turned laying on the turf while the players were watching. No, it took like a good 6 to 7 minutes to get Michael Westbrook up off of Stephen Davis. Bro. So, shout out to Stephen Davis. No disrespect, Sam, but that's what I remember you for.
I met them at a car dealership thing. A dude was trying to introduce a franchise type thing in Colombia, and so I meet them, and then at the same dealership, not the same company. I mean, not the same group of people. It's the same company, but not the same group of people. I meet Jermaine O'Neal at the same place in Colombia.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So shout out to JoJo English, bro. And Stephen Davis is a really good dude, by the way, y'all. Stephen Davis does football camps every year for kids.
Don't hold that against him.
Yeah,
don't hold him. Don't hold that against him. Him having his face in the turf.
Nah, he got Yo,
Michael Westbrook beat the shit. The thing about that bothered me then and it bothers me now was no longer a fair fight. Okay, right. And I get it in football camps because of the nature of the violence and the violence, the physicality, and all of that. These things are going to happen. But if you see one man that's clearly tapped out and his head is in the turf and another man is literally riding him like he's Secretariat, he's on top of him, and Michael Westbrook is giving him everything.
Right.
He's your teammate. They're both your teammates.
And they both play on offense.
And they both play on offense.
Thing. Yeah.
It's not like offensive defensive thing. You're just gonna just let that happen?
Right.
How does that work? How do you come back from that? They didn't come back from that.
Right.
Move on from that. Yes, sir.
Right. Stephen Davis, man, is a really good dude, bro. Good family, all of that, bro. That dude.
Every time I hear you say that, I quiver, yo. Every time I hear you vouch for these, good family.
For people from South Carolina,
Oh, it's a South Carolina thing.
Yeah, well, kinda. I mean,
Okay.
It's not just that, because it's grimy people everywhere. Right. But what I'm saying is when you meet certain people, you just want to make sure that, you know what I'm saying? It's like when you like that time Dolan was like,
hey,
you know what I'm saying?
Hey.
And you was like, and then he invited me up to the suite. And
I was walking out with lobster rolls in my pocket. Stop playing. Stop playing. You know what I mean? Lobster roll. They were serving lobster. They were serving a bunch of things, but it was the lobster rolls and the butterfly shaped pasta that they had. Oh, good God! Stop playing. And my drinks were cold, and
yeah, man.
It was a beautiful thing. Hopefully, we can get back to that, or go further from that. Hopefully, because the link that I sent you this morning, which you did not watch, which you probably watched before, but you didn't want to get into that mood, because I watched it because it was spring, and the documentary is called Spring of '94, and it came out about 20 years ago to document, obviously, the ride of the Knicks and the Rangers, right, of that time, and how it seemed like how both of us were gonna get there. And with the Rangers who, they held up their end, and they won it, and they took home Lord Stanley, and Lord Stanley is the trophy, the cup that, in hockey that they give out at the end.
Year, bro.
Right. 94 was a totally weird year, but the point is, both our captains, Messier's captain, Ewing is captain, have both made declarations. Right? Messier makes his declaration against the Devils after Game 5, when they lose Game 5, and it seemed like it was all going for naught, and it was not gonna happen. And Messier comes out and he says, "We're gonna win Game 6. We're gonna win it all." Right? Oh, and not only does he says it, but he backs it up. And he has a hat trick. And for those of you who don't understand hockey language, he scores 3 goals. He scores 3 goals in Game 6 and a empty netter, which is his 3rd goal. But he backs it up because he's Mark Messier. Oh. You understand? And when he came here, it was supposed to be Canyons of Heroes from the moment he got here. But he had to struggle to get there. They had to fall to rise again. But when it was time for them to rise, they rose. And not to say that the Rangers was, they won it all that year and we did not. But both captains, because Ewing said the same thing in the back pages, we're going to win it all. Right. And sometimes in life, not just sometimes, but when it comes to this thing here, as far as leadership, right, and a captain that has to grab that moment, and he has to have his exodus moment. And he has to, this is where we're going. You understand? Right. And you're going to follow me. And I'm going to take you there. Mark Messier had won like 5 Stanley Cups with the Edmonton Oilers before he got to New York. People forget 5. That.
It was like, yeah.
It was like 3, 4, 5. It was multiple. Yeah. I remember that. You know what I'm saying? Because he's playing with Gretzky and, all those great teams from back then. And I'm not even a hockey buff like that, but I'm a sports guy. So, of course, I'm there. You know what I'm saying? I understand what it is to win and the desire to win. And when you get a guy like that on your team, the expectation is winning. And he's going to take us there.
Right.
You understand? And that's what he did. Those Devil teams with Fetisov and all those people, they were great teams. But he had to get past them, to get past Vancouver, to finally to win it all.
Yeah, okay, so the resident Devils fan in the building can speak to the Devils having Martin Brodeur, Scott Niedermayer. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Scott Stevens,
the Russians.
Yeah, I mean
Scott Stevens.
Russians, I mean, y'all had the Rangers had who? Mike Gardner, Mike Gartner,
Richter. I mean,
Mike Richter, who lost y'all plenty of.
Mike Richter lost y'all plenty of playoff games. Mateau, who scores, who scores that winning goal, and the famous call, Mateau, Adam Graves. Yeah. I wanted to lead off the show with this, but my God, well, Monty, he's after that. They traded him to get where they had to get. But I wanted to lead off the show with this scene.
Brian Leach, I forgot about
Brian Leach, who Mike Keenan, who was the coach at that time, had benched Brian Leach, right? Yep. And it seemed like he didn't know what the hell he was doing, but in the end, it worked out, right? Sam Rosen at that time, who was the broadcaster who was on the call for MSG at the time, he said, "The waiting is over, and this one will last a lifetime." Yeah. Right? That's after Game 7. The waiting is over, and this one will last a lifetime. The Rangers hadn't won anything since 1940. It was 54 years exactly since the last time they had won. And it was so poetically put that I forgot it, and I had to write it down to remember it, to actually see it, his words on paper. And when you're a broadcaster and so forth, you're supposed to be non-biased. But how could you not be biased at that time? Because you're from the area, you're in the area, and the area is starving for the championship.
See, that's
right?
That's one of the things I disagree with as a fan. I don't want my announcers to be non-biased. I just want them to be 100% truthful. Don't shoot me the gas. Like don't be Phil Rizzuto, right? And I was watching. I never forget. I was watching a Yankees game.
You disrespect Phil Rizzuto.
I was watching a Yankees game because there was nothing else on TV. I'm not a Yankees fan, right, at all.
Of course you're not.
But I was watching the Yankees. It was a daytime game. It was Bill White, Phil Rizzuto, and Bobby Mercer, right, calling the game, right. And I'll never forget. As long as I live, a dude that was an outfielder for the Angels hits a pop-up to shortstop. Rick Cerrone hits a pop-up to shortstop, and Phil Rizzuto was like, "Oh my, it's a deep drive, way back." And Bill White is like, and it's caught by the shortstop. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, I will never respect the Yankees. Because they laughed. They laughed. I think they called him Scooter, right? They laughed with him. They like, "Scooter, you need glasses?"
The Scooter.
Right? He's like, "Oh, my, what a shot." And it's a pop-up to short for that reason.
I mean, the man at the time was 75 years old. What do you...
The man at the time was 132 years old. I get it. I get it.
But he was also a Yankee.
Yeah.
You understand? Who had won championships.
Right.
So his expectations of the team, was to win. And sometimes, because I remember a lot of those games in the early 80s and so forth. Well, mid 80s, early 90s, when you're not winning.
Right.
You understand? And it's got to be hard for someone like that who has followed the team. You played with them for 15 years. Now you're broadcasting for 30. Right. Even when they had his Phil Rizzuto day, because everything he would say would always begin and end with this: "Holy cow!
Holy cow!" Yeah.
Holy cow! Right. So when they retired his number, I think his number was number 10.
Number 1, right? Yeah.
Or no, Billy Martin is number 1.
No, Phil was number 1 also.
Okay, so he comes out and they're retiring his number, and they bring out a cow, right?
I remember that.
The cow knocks him over.
I remember that. And Phil Rizzuto was a tiny man. I mean, not tiny, but
he's a small man.
Yeah.
He's 5'5", 5'6".
Yeah.
In his playing days, maybe 160 pounds. In his afterlife, maybe 140, 45.
Right.
He's a small guy. They bring out the cow on his day. The cow knocks him over. Heck, one of the funniest shit I've ever seen on live television. The cow knocks him over. So, you don't want a homer, but remember this. The Allen Houston shot, as we go back to rivalries against Miami, when you hear, what's my guy? Oh, my God, on the call, who used to be a Knicks announcer on the radio and even TV. He's no longer with the Knicks, obviously, for the last 20 years.
His son is no longer with the Knicks. His son got fired, too.
Oh, okay.
You know, and when I forget his name, but his son.
His name is skipping me. It's going to come to me.
Brendan something is his son.
No, not Brendan. I'm talking about the radio announcer, the African American gentleman. What is his name? Oh my God! Yes. Okay. And he makes the Allen Houston call when he goes and up and in. You know, it was one of those moments where you couldn't hide your feelings and your passion for the team because it was against your rival Miami.
Right. Okay. To that, I'm like, to me it just strange for Mike Breen not to say bang during a Knicks game. You're banging all over, bang, and then when you call a Knicks game, you're like, and he puts it in. Or
early Marv Albert, yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? John and Tracy.
Marv Albert was yes all over the place.
But he was yes here first, and some of our greatest moments for a period. See, Marv, the thing with Marv is, and Marv has since retired and so forth, and salute to Marv Albert and all of that, and the Alberts and so forth, because they've been a mainstay in broadcasting.
Him and his brother have got to be 114 years old, bro.
Combined, absolutely. Their children are now out in the broadcast world.
Right.
But Marv, at one point, would be so truthful or so non-biased that the organization had to get rid of him.
Right.
You can't sit here as I'm paying you good money to broadcast our games and call and say things like this is expensive garbage time, which he would do on a regular.
Yeah.
I mean, these were during the days of Ken the Animal Bannister and Louis Orr, God rest his dead.
Was it not extended garbage time, though?
It was, but I'm paying you money to have a spin. I'm not paying you money for the outsiders can say that.
Right.
I'm paying you good money to not only to broadcast Knicks games, but we also allow you, because you signed a contract which is non-exclusive, which means you're able to go and broadcast other NBA games.
Right. On Saturdays and Sundays for NBA.
On Saturdays, Sundays, during the week. Remember, at some point during the late 80s, TNT started doing games at night.
Oh, yeah, you remember that?
Yeah.
And TBS, remember that? Yeah.
And TBS and all of that. And you're able to do all these. Plus, you're able to do the finals, because for a long time, Marv was the voice of the finals as well.
After Brent Musburger.
Right, after right. These are during the NBC years, because Brent Musburger years was CBS.
Right, those were the best years in my opinion. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm gonna say the NBC years were better because the
presentation was
better. The lead up to the game.
Yeah, they had
when
you
had
for the pregame.
Oh,
and
the
then pregame, and then the game started.
Yes,
but Bob Costas would be
I was just about to say that. The Bob Costas lead in was like, dude, the lead in, the you know, it was almost John Facenda like.
Yeah.
You know, it was, you know, the
you know where they got that from, right?
Huh?
You know where they got the motto from, right?
I would say
they got it from the '84 Olympics.
Okay.
The dude from that did the '84 Olympics helped bid on the NBA, and part of the pitch was money, but second of all, they're going to do every game just like it's the Olympics. So it's like they're going to start with a morning show. I think they called it the Inside Stuff. And then, so they're going to take up an entire like 5-hour block lead up to the game.
Mm-hmm.
So advertisers are going to be paying top dollar for all, you know what I'm saying, for all of this, and then we're not putting random games on, we're putting premier games on, and we're going to add it into the schedule, right? No, the Knicks and Bulls can't play on Thursday night; they have to play on Saturday evening or Sunday afternoon.
Okay.
And so I got you with that. And having Marv Albert and Matty Gukas.
Those were good games, Matty Gukas. Or better yet, I used to like when you had Walton. What's my guy? John Snapper and
Snapper Jones.
Snapper Jones and Marv
Buckner.
and Gukas and Quinn Buckner doing the games together, because you always had a Snapper Jones and Walton always, because Walton had a tendency of making one play even bigger than it really was.
Because he was high as a kite.
Just the way he sounded, right?
Yeah.
Just the way he sounded, he always gave you like, you know, something bigger, and he had a way of expressing.
That pass, Matty.
Yeah,
that pass was basic as
basic as hell, but his eloquence,
he
made you look at the game in a more grandiose manner because of how he presented the game. It's like anything else; it's presentation. See what I'm saying? And when you roll it out with somebody who not only was a part of the presentation, but he loves the game, and he loves the presentation. And you have someone who's like, you know what, all right, that wasn't that great, so it makes a good back and forth, so to
commentary.
speak. Great commentary.
I got you. I feel you. I feel you on that, man. With that, I still though, you know, want people to be honest with me. I don't want people to shoot me the gas. Right?
Well, that's why you're watching. You see, it's not like the days when things were just solely on the radio. Right. On the radio, you needed someone to paint the picture, so forth and so forth and so forth. On TV, kind of like what we do now in the podcast world, there's some entertainment value that has to come a part of it. Right. You know, whether you know it consciously or you don't.
Okay.
That's how you get ratings. That's how you get, you know, shares and likes and blah, blah, blah. Someone has to like you. Someone has to want to see and hear from, you know, Uncle Freezie, still the real AD. We can't imagine someone not liking us and wanting to see us and hear us and hear these.
Smash that like button.
You see what I'm saying? Smash that like button. Although we don't do that, but so many podcasts around there, they lead with that. On the lead, middle, and side, smash that like button, smash that button, or whatever. But that's what you do. That's not what we do necessarily. You know what I'm saying? But we're just here to run the conversation. But in order to keep running the conversation, you have to have people to communicate for. Yes.
Right.
You know, but. Right. Before we do roll out of here, this was opening day, and I've been meaning, because I know you're a big Mets fan and a baseball fan and so forth. Have you been watching these couple of games that's happened so far, and the whole rule changes and so forth? How do you feel about it?
I love it. I love it.
I watched my first baseball game in its entirety yesterday for the first time maybe in 10 years.
Right.
Which is the Yankees against San Francisco.
I love it.
I can't lie to you. I enjoyed it, right? I enjoyed watching it. It took me a minute, because I never thought I would come back to baseball like that, because baseball is my original first love, even before boxing.
Yeah.
But when I hear people are championing baseball and the greatness and what they've done to bring the game back. I'm like, here's the thing. Baseball did this to themselves.
Yeah.
Let's understand that.
Yeah.
Baseball with their shift, when they allowed teams to literally go 8 guys on one side, and
defense is on one side of the field, and
you know they allowed, you know, who they market the game to. They, you know, analytics in sports, for me, I'm not going to say a waste of time, but you're going to tell me that I should trust the after effects, the post data, which is how you come up with the data that you're going to go into the next game with, versus my eyes, my knowledge, what I've seen before, the feel of the game. It drove me so crazy I had to leave the game alone because it wasn't the game I grew up with. You understand? Right. And even I'm watching the game yesterday, right? And in particular the pitcher, because the pitcher is the quarterback. The pitcher is the one that's going to dictate, for the most part, how the game is going to go. Okay?
Right.
The Yankees, I can't remember the gentleman's name, so, you know, forgive me for that, because I'm watching the game. Because I'm so excited I'm actually watching a whole baseball game.
Nobody cares. I see you.
Well, you don't care, but, you know, people don't been celebrating for 27 world championships. They care. Watch your mouth, Mets fan, when I'm speaking. Mute your microphone, son. It's a Yankee fan here talking.
My apologies.
Yeah. You better. Okay.
My apologies.
So a pitcher has to re-engage, has to suffer to come back again during a game if he's not totally on his thing. What I mean by that is you got to recreate. A pitcher and a catcher, they discuss the game plan before the game starts, right? How we're going to go to each and every player per inning, who's coming up, whatever, and what pitches are you comfortable in throwing and so forth.
Right.
And at some point in time, the other team gets paid too, and they may rock your pitcher.
Right.
The Yankees pitcher is sailing along for 4 innings. He gives up 1 home run. Immediately they get the bullpen up. Right? He gives up another base hit, whatever. 2, the game is tied. Mind you, we're not talking about there's an onslaught here. We're talking about 2-2. 2-1, 3-2, whatever the score was, it was that of a minute kind of score.
Right.
4 innings, they pull him out of the game. In order for the starting pitcher to be credible to get credit for a win, he has to go at least 5 innings.
5 full innings. Yep.
And I'm looking, and I'm like, see, this is why I stopped messing with y'all in the first place, because you don't allow. You throw in the analytics in there that says he's done, he's tired, he's gassed, whatever. You don't allow for a pitcher to
They even tell you what pitches to throw.
Yes, you don't allow for in this count versus that count.
Yep.
You don't allow for a pitcher basically to graduate high school.
Yeah,
see what I'm saying?
Too much chess. It's too much.
It's too much, because in baseball is 161 games. You cannot win every freaking game.
And you know what? You know what else? This is the part of baseball that I dislike, right? The athleticism of sport is gone, right? Dudes now on first base. Back in the day, you had a big first baseman when he was about 215 pounds, and you would give him a name like Big House. Then it would be like Big House. And your shortstop was maybe 150, 155. Your second baseman might have been 160, 165. Your third baseman, you know what I'm saying, you would have gave him your third baseman had a name like Goob or something, because he was the other big guy on the infield But he was a little bit. He probably was a dancing bear, where the dude on first base was just a power bat, right? And then in the outfield, you always had speed guys, because if that ball ever went to the wall, you didn't want to have Yogi Bear running for the ball in the outfield. What happened was everybody is 210, right? Everybody, the first baseman is 270. The Mets have a dude named Daniel Vogelback who played last year, and he was about 315 pounds, AD. No lie, right? No lie. He's about 315 pounds, right? And he looked like it, right? And then on top, just real quick, on top of that, on top of all of that, right? The other thing they did was they let pitchers start throwing 152 miles an hour, right? Now pitchers are throwing so hard, they got to take a smoke break in between pitches, right? This is the reason why they got the pitch clock, because these dudes put all their energy in one pitch and then walk around for 3 minutes getting their energy back up to throw another pitch.
Well, you could do that because, and this is a part of the problem. You invented a whole new salary cap with your middle relief.
Yep.
See, if you don't got good middle relievers in today's game,
you gonna lose.
Because they allowed guys like, who used to coach for the St. Louis and previous to that the Oakland Athletics. Lord, my names are like.
How long ago was it?
La Russa.
Oh, Tony La Russa, yeah.
Tony La Russa. Tony La Russa is like the beginning of the middle relief.
He started doing that when he was in Chicago with the White
Sox. Or the expansion of the middle relief, right?
You remember that he used to go to the pitcher's mound after every hitter? And he's like, nobody came to see Tony La Russa.
Lefty, righty, this, that, whatever, a pitcher. And I don't know if I've talked about it on this platform or maybe another platform, that was on. The Yankees had a guy when they were not good in the late 80s named Dennis Rasmussen.
Right, I remember him.
Dennis Rasmussen was a lefty, and I think his best season was he went 18-6. All right? And Dennis Rasmussen could never get past the 8th inning. Right. So he was a guy 7 2/3.
Every time.
If you got 7 2/3, but back then it was a badge of honor to get to the 8th or even complete the game.
Yep.
Right?
Even if you lost.
Today, completion?
Today, if your ace throws 6, that's a quality start.
It's we've lost when,
AD, they throw too hard, bro.
It's not just you throw too hard. It's not you throwing too hard, but you're getting well, hold on. If your organization is literally planning on having certain guys come in that just throws gas for 1 or 2 innings, and not even 2 innings, but 1, right? We're going to have a whole new salary slot, and all of you guys, in our day, Freezie, the only 2 guys who threw 100 miles per hour, which was J.R. Richards with the Astros, Nolan Ryan. And Nolan never got to 100, but Nolan was 97 for 9 innings.
Yeah.
Okay?
And all over JR, sometimes.
When JR first cracked that 100 miles per hour, I remember seeing him in the All-Star game, and it was like, who the is this?
All arms and legs.
Right? That could just absolutely
it was like he was putting the ball in the mitt, bro.
Right, but the idiosyncrasies of pitching, of knowing that, this guy versus that guy, I need to throw this in here, whatever. We lost that because we allow analytics to come in to dictate to us what our eyes is seeing. And the stats is telling you that our eyes are not seeing that. A coach like Billy Martin today would never be able to coach because he's going to do things that analytics is saying that you can't. See what I'm saying? I remember watching, when I was a kid, and I watched it in later years back when they're playing the Yankees. Their main rivals back then in the late 70s, whatever, in division was the Royals. He brings in Sparky Lyle in like the third inning of, I think it was game 3 or something.
Best in the game, too, Sparky Lyle. Best
well,
in the game.
I don't know if it was better than Raleigh Fingers.
Goose
Gossett. Well, Raleigh had the original handle mustache that curled up, which he still rocks today. Right. Just with another fathom, his gray beard and whatever. But shout out to Raleigh Fingers. But you wouldn't do that. You see what I'm saying? Earl Weaver, you couldn't tell Earl was nothing about no analytics. He would throw you out of his office.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? We've allowed to. That's what drove me away from the game. And another thing that drove me away from the game is these ballparks. I'm a Yankee fan, okay? Yankee Stadium, it's absolutely a glorified high school field.
The new one, right?
The new one.
Right.
You can, Judge hit it 422. I'm sorry, it was a home run at 315. Who cares 422?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Right field, which was always the short porch in Yankee Stadium, old Yankee Stadium, or when I say old, I don't mean old before 1976 when they redid it, when they had, that Yankee Stadium. But that Yankee Stadium, right field was 353. The sideline was, I think, 321. But 353 they used to call short porch.
Right.
353.
Right.
When San Francisco was coming back yesterday, they were hitting home runs, or they hit like 2 or 3 home runs over 315.
Bro.
You're building launch pads.
Right.
You're building stadiums for steroidish. Not saying that these guys are on steroids, but these stadiums started popping up around during the steroid-ish era.
And they build these stadiums for the ball to carry out of these stadiums, bro.
Carry out the stadium.
Yeah. Like you don't have like for instance, you have these open air stadiums, right? Where the air doesn't come over the top of the building and blow inside the stadium. Now there are so many openings that the wind blows through the stadium. Bro, you ever been to Citi Field? Bro, it's like
I pass it almost every day. I live not too far from Citi.
Bro, it's like Citi Field, with the Pirates, bro, with the Cincinnati Reds play, bro. They're legit.
The Pirates play, but Three River, Cincinnati played that. I used to know the names of these ballparks, man.
Three River Stadium. So I'm sorry. The Pirates used to play at Three Rivers. Cincinnati used to play in Riverfront. Remember Riverfront?
Right.
And St. Louis used to play in Busch Stadium.
Busch Stadium for the Anheuser-Busch family that owned the stadium back then.
Right.
Or that owned the team. I think they still own the team. I'm not sure.
Right. And so the thing about these stadiums, man, is even Atlanta. When you go to Atlanta, bro, it's so open air that the elements basically have no impact on the ball, bro. Now it's just straight. You can hit a ball a country mile in these places, bro.
Houston has a stadium. I remember some years ago when Roger Clemens had left the Yankees, okay?
Right.
And I'm not one of those that call him a hired hand because he helped us win a championship or a couple. So, we did what we did, and salute to Roger. Right. And he should be in the Hall of Fame. I don't care.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
In the All-Star game that year, that first year that when he goes to Houston, I think him and Andy Pettitte had defected to Houston at that time.
Right.
They hit like 7 launch pad home runs off of him.
Right.
It was disgusting. It was worse than batting practice. It was worse than the home run derby. And I'm like, yo.
Don't get me started about the equipment. Bro, for one.
What is this?
For one, the bats that they use now are like aluminum bats. The bats are so compressed, it's like an aluminum bat.
Yeah.
Right?
When I hear these guys hitting these launch pad home runs, I'm like, look, Remember something. 1971, Reggie Jackson with the Oakland A's against Doc Ellis in Old Detroit Stadium. Hit the ball over the freaking roof.
Hit a transformer.
Hit the transformer.
On the roof.
On the roof. If the transformer wasn't there, it's out of the stadium completely. In the parking lot somewhere.
But he hit that ball center of percussion. That means he hit that ball in the middle and on the sweet part of his bat. There was no compressed ash bat that splinter. The dudes break bats now. You got to bring 8 bats to the game, bro, because you're gonna break 3.
You got to bring more. You got to bring more.
Right. And there was back in the day when you broke a bat, it was a thing. You talked about it.
It was a thing. You talked about it. But baseball is their own worst enemy. Okay. In 1998, the year of the home run with Sosa and McGuire and so forth, and then Griffey. Okay. Griffey 58. There's a lot of guys. Brady Anderson hit 50.
Yeah.
Okay, with the Orioles, he never came close to it again.
You're right.
A lot of guys. Juan Gonzalez was a good hitter, period. But he was one of those guys. I never looked down on those guys for taking performance enhancement, whatever, because baseball allowed it for attendance,
right,
and for rating.
Pitchers were doing it first.
And pitchers were doing it because guys were taking speed way back when. But my point here is this. When I see the game hold Barry Bonds on the perimeter of the game. Yes, San Francisco has brought him back, gave him a job, and blah, 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 whatever. But it's almost like the entire nation last year was rooting for Judge, not just to get the 62, but to somehow eclipse Bonds at 70. What Bonds at? 70, 71?
73.
Right? 73.
Yeah.
Right? To eclipse Bonds, because Bonds is just the stain that the game can't get over. Because it's Bonds, and how dare he take something.
Bro, if he was just kind with the media. If he was
just kind with the media.
But no.
Look, hold on. Go ahead.
Before you jump out the window, listen to what I'm saying. If he had just been kind to the media, they would have looked past all that stuff. But what they didn't, but what people don't realize is how the media did his father with him looking. How they did Bobby Bonds, right? And you you can't blame Barry Bonds for not trusting the media and not wanting to talk to the media when you watch your pops get run through the ringer, right?
Not only that.
The Yankees did the same thing to Ken Griffey. The Yankees
Senior.
told
Ken Griffey Senior.
I'm good. Okay. The Yankees told Ken Griffey that they cannot allow kids to be on the infield, right? No kids on the infield.
Right.
And Ken Griffey and his son Junior were in the dugout watching Craig Nettles and his son take ground balls.
Absolutely.
And from that day on, Ken Griffey was like, every time I see the Yankees, I'm going to punish them because of what they did to my pops.
Oh, and here's the thing. And I'm going to speak to that. I'm going to go back to Bonds. When Ken Griffey Sr. got to the Yankees, this is after his run with the Big Red Machine.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
Ken Griffey used to bat number 2 behind Willie Randolph at that period.
Yep.
2, Dave Winfield was 3, and so forth and so forth.
Right.
They never made it, they were just a good team that kept winning games in the 80s.
Right after they booed Reggie Jackson out of town, by the way.
Well, they didn't boo Reggie out of town.
Yeah,
No, they didn't boo Reggie out of town. Well, no, you're distorting the history. You're distorting. You can't.
Reggie
hold on a
Jackson
second,
got old, and y'all
no
trade him and run him off.
No.
Yes, they did.
What happened? No.
What kind of money
this
did
is
they offer
why.
Reggie Jackson?
You see, this is why you have
what kind of money did y'all offer Reggie Jackson in '81? I'm asking.
I'm gonna tell you, Uncle Freezie. This is why you have me here as the resident historian. But what had happened was, with that case in particular, the Yankees signed Dave Winfield. They thought that Dave Winfield was going to be the heir apparent to Reggie, right? When they signed Winfield, was in the fall of '81. They get to the final. They get to the World Series against the Dodgers and so forth,
and lose.
And Dave Winfield has one of the worst postseasons in a World Series, and the owner dubbed him Mr. May.
Right.
But they thought with the other things that they had, and Reggie was, to Reggie's discredit, Reggie started getting a little pudge around the belly. You know what I mean? A little something around the and Reggie has a new documentary out, by the way, on Amazon. I would strongly suggest baseball fans to watch that.
I saw it's on Amazon. I didn't see the documentary yet.
Yeah, it's on Amazon. I watched it recently, and it was a part of my topics, to discuss it. So I'm glad you brought it up. And who Reggie was, as a player, on the field, off the field, and so forth.
Right.
But it was one of those things where they had signed him to a 5-year deal in 1976, 77, something like that, and they were coming to the end of it, and he had just given Dave Winfield his because he was like, the new, I'm gonna get the new Reggie, so we're good with this, and I'll let Reggie go. And fans at that time, you don't discount or dislove or fall out of love with a motherfucker that hits 3 home runs in one game off of 3 pitchers, off of 3 straight pitches.
3 pitches, right?
Okay.
This is 1970.
And the final one being in Old Yankee Stadium in the black, what we used to call the black, where no one sat out there.
Right.
Just it was out there in the mist.
Because they were bad,
it was
but whatever. Yeah.
Well, bad, whatever. It was. I used to look at it like, it's out there for the black man's paradise. Where the black man is, out there way out west, way out north,
there, right?
Way out there where no one else can hit it but Reggie. Right. And Reggie did it, and you don't have moments like that. You dream of moments like that. You can't wake. I'm sure when Reggie woke up that next morning, someone had to slap him silly. Did I really do that? Did I really hit 3 home runs in the pivotal game off 3 pitches, off 3 pitches?
He went to Arizona State. If you want a star, get your star from Arizona State.
You're right about that.
If you want to,
you're right about that.
Play, get him from But
you're right about that.
What I'm saying is Reggie had one bad season when you knew he was hurt, right? This is the one. Reggie had 4 seasons. I'm gonna because I remember
business.
This, right? So
this is business, though, Phil.
Yeah, I understand. But Reggie Jackson had a season where he batted 286, 274.
Okay.
Right. 1979, he batted 297. 1980, he batted 300. Right. 1981, he batted 237 with 54 RBIs and 15 home. All right. So what one could say, Reggie had a down.
For
Reggie Jackson
yes.
was old, right? All right. The very next season, as a California Angel,
he went bananas.
He hit 39 home runs,
yes,
101 RBIs, played 156 games, batted 275.
He had something to prove, but understand it.
The Yankees ran him out of town.
Well, okay. You know what? I'll give you that because of the history. Remember something. Old Yankee Stadium was dubbed the house that Ruth built.
Right.
Ruth couldn't even get a third baseman's job with the Yankees.
I understand that.
Okay?
Right.
the Yankees historically is one of those is the franchise that it's like, what have you done for me lately? Okay? We'll reap all of the benefits that you helped bestow on us, but when it's over, it's over. Remember this. Reggie's mentor early with the A's, and for those of you who don't know, baseball or historically what the Oakland A's was like, the Oakland A's historically may be the greatest team of all times.
That early 70s.
Those early 70s teams.
They call them the swinging A's.
They smacked your team in 73. They smacked the Reds in 72. They smacked Baltimore in 71.
Right.
That's just what they did.
Right.
Sal Bando, Vita Blue 1 year went 24-8 with 24 complete games.
Right. Right.
Think about that. 24 complete games. Not 5, not 10, not 15, 24 complete games.
And then in 82, y'all chased after Ricky Henderson. So
we didn't chase after him. We got him.
Okay, all right. Yeah,
okay? We didn't chase after him. We got him.
My point to it is Yankees fans and some Knicks fans, no matter how good you are, if you're bad for a little bit, they'll turn on you.
Here's one thing. Here's one thing that we forget.
I gotta
run. Hold on.
I gotta run, bro. I gotta get out of here because I got a sharp deadline.
We can't properly